After 9 years of GMC's first generation Acadia being in production, it finally sees a full redesign for the 2017 model year. The new Acadia boasts improvements to technology, design, and fuel efficiency, but it also takes away some of the strengths that the previous Acadia had. So is it a worthy choice for a mid-size crossover? Well, let's go ahead and find out and take a closer look at this 2017 GMC Acadia Denali. Now, the last generation Acadia was out for a very long time, since the 2007 model year. That was before President Obama became president. But as you could see, this new Acadia is much smaller and it's lighter than the vehicle it replaces. It sheds about 700 pounds and it's also more fuel efficient. Now, our trim of the Acadia we have here is the top of the line Denali trim, and it comes with every option you can get for the vehicle. It also has the optional technology package for the Denali, which includes high-end safety technologies such as adaptive cruise control. I really do love the new looks of the Acadia here. It's more masculine, a little bit more rugged this time around, and I really do love the chrome trim that we do get on the Denali here. And then these 20-inch polished aluminum wheels do finish off the vehicle pretty nicely. Here goes the key fob design for the Acadia. You have your lock, unlock, remote engine start, power tailgate, and your panic alarm. This color is known as the Quicksilver Metallic, and it does come with smart key access on all 4 doors of the vehicle. And you do have a full-on black leather interior. And then you have the Denali logo embroidered into the headrest. And GMC likes to call it the jet black. You have your power driver's seat with power recline and power lumbar, of course. All right, now stepping on inside of the new Acadia here, the step-in height is pretty low, and the cabin design is much more modern this time around. And the design is just really nice, especially in our top of the line Denali. Love the wood grain interior trim, gives it a much more elegant and classy feel inside of here. And I love the stitching on the dashboard too. Overall, it's a very premium looking cabin. Very impressed. You do have push button ignition. Just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start, of course. And what you're hearing there is a 3.6 liter V6. Full leather wrap steering wheel. Coming to your transmission, we have a typical 6-speed automatic transmission. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, and most vehicles nowadays are moving to 8 speeds and 9 speeds. But this 6-speed automatic transmission shifts very well. It's pretty responsive and works very well with this V6 engine. You also do have lower gear selection and manual shiftability. When you put the vehicle into reverse, this will display your surround view monitor. You also do have guidance lines, and you do have a front camera view too. Pretty cool. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the lights, and then you also do have fog lights, and then the hazards. Automatic driver's side window. Let's go and pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Heated exterior mirrors with blind spot detection. Now, the new Acadia here is 7.2 inches shorter in overall length. It's also 3.5 inches narrower and 6.6 inches shorter in height. And this allows for less passenger and cargo space. However, it's much easier to maneuver this vehicle, and it's still competitive with other mid-size SUVs. You have high-intensity discharge headlights with LED daytime running lights and halogen projector beam fogs. Powering the Acadia is General Motors' very familiar 3.6 liter V6 that produces 310 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque. But this is an optional powertrain on the Acadia. Now, EPA estimates are looking at 18 in the city and 25 on the highway, which is pretty good for our all-wheel drive model. Now there's also a newly available 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, which I actually recommend avoiding because that powertrain can feel pretty sluggish at times, and this V6 engine is definitely needed for this type of crossover for this size. And then also it does come with a 6-speed automatic transmission only, and you can go for front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Trims of the Acadia start at the base SL, which starts at $29,070. The SLE1 starts at $32,450. SLE2 $35,070. SLT1 $38,350. SLT2 $41,750. And then the top of the line Denali starts at $44,920. Now, one package I really do like on the new Acadia here is the all-terrain package, which comes with distinct styling exterior treatments that make the vehicle look a little bit more rugged and a little bit more off-road ready. And it does come with a more advanced all-wheel drive system. Competitors of the Acadia, you have the vehicles in the mid-size crossover class. This includes the likes of the Toyota Highlander, Kia Sorento, Ford Explorer. You can also look at the Honda Pilot and the Mazda CX-9. Now the Acadia slots in the middle between the GMC Terrain as well as the Yukon and their crossover SUV lineup. On the top you also do have roof rails, and you have LED illuminated taillights, but no LED brake lights here. You also do have a rear window wiper with a rear window defroster, dual exhaust tips, and rear parking sensors, as well as rear reflectors, and an LED third brake light. No shark fin antenna, however. Right here I'm going to show you the parts content information. The engine and transmission are all from the United States, and the final assembly point is actually in Tennessee. And total vehicle price, you're looking at $50,985, and EPA estimates, like I said, are 18 city, 25 highway. All of your basic power accessories, power windows, power mirrors. And then you also do have power door locks, of course, chrome interior door handles, and memory seat settings for 2 people. Now, interior quality is actually vastly improved over the last generation Acadia, most notably in its build quality. The build quality, it feels much more sturdy. Inside of here, it feels much more solid, and the interior trim and pieces fit nicely together, and then also they don't creak like how they did in the last generation Acadia. Materials are also pretty competitive for the class. You have nice soft touch materials everywhere inside of this vehicle, like on the armrest, mid-door panel, upper door panel. Dashboard is also a nice soft padded material, and on the center console lid too. Overall, very impressed with the interior quality of the Acadia. Now, coming to the steering wheel design, love the new steering wheel design here. The last generation Acadia's steering wheel was very dated, extremely dated actually. And then I really do like this little Denali logo that we do get here. Over here we have your cruise control. You also do have adaptive cruise control for collision warning, your heated steering wheel. And then over here we have your voice recognition and your Bluetooth phone controls, and the controls for the configurable display, which I'll get to in just a minute. The steering wheel also does power tilt and telescope, which is nice. You also do have an electronic parking brake. Up here you do have an auto dimming rearview mirror, OnStar, and then your garage home link with then your LED map lights, really nice looking lights there. And then you have your sunglass container. And one thing I don't like about the sunroof is that you actually have a manual shade. Most vehicles have a power shade. And then you have your sunroof controls. Visibility in the Acadia is pretty good. Lots of glass area all around. Seeing out of the windshield is pretty easy too. It really does help out with that surround view monitor. And then when you get to rearward visibility, it's pretty easy to see out of this vehicle. There's no sloping roofline or anything of that nature. It's a very blocky kind of SUV, which Allows for a lot of visibility. I also do like the driving position of the Acadia. It doesn't sit too high up where you can't see anything, but it doesn't sit low to the ground like some other crossovers do. Down here you also do have a little storage compartment and 2 USB charging ports, as well as a 12-volt power outlet, dual cup holders, and your parking sensors button, and then your terrain management for the all-wheel drive system. And then we also do have your lane departure warning. And then your center console storage is okay. It's a decent amount. Seating comfort is also excellent in the Acadia. The seats provide a decent amount of side bolstering, especially on this lower part right here. And then there's also a pretty good amount of thigh support too. These seats are very comfortable, great for extended road trips. Coming to the climate controls, we do have dual zone automatic climate control, and the buttons are pretty big, easy to use, very simple. And then you have your dials for the temperatures, your different zones, rear window defroster and your front window defroster, and your fan speeds with the center dial. Easy as that. As far as the way the Acadia drives, it provides a very smooth and comfortable ride quality, just like the previous generation Acadia. But the biggest difference in driving this new Acadia is the maneuverability. It's much easier to maneuver this car thanks to the reduction in the weight. And then also the 3.6 liter V6 provides the power that's needed for this vehicle, and it feels really responsive with this 6-speed automatic transmission. Overall, it's certainly competitive with other midsize SUVs in the way it drives, and it offers a decent amount of feedback as well as driver engagement. It doesn't feel nimble around corners, but certainly on par with other midsize SUVs. Now, GMC finally updated the gauges in the instrument cluster in the Acadia. The old Acadia's gauges were just extremely dated, and they look like they came out of 2005 rather than 2016. But this Acadia is much improved. We have a TFT instrument cluster with a configurable display. On the left, you also do have your tachometer, and it also shows you your oil temperature, and then on the right we do have your battery voltage, your coolant temperature, and your fuel gauge. In the center right there, that's your configurable display. It's all controlled by the buttons on the steering wheel, and it shows you your vehicle information such as your trip information. It also gives you information about your all-wheel drive system, like the departure angle. Then you also do have your transmission fluid temperature, oil pressure, oil temperature, your economy trend, gives you a little graph, and then your follow distance, your speed limit warning system, and then you have your timer too. And it gives you your fuel economy, and then your tire pressure, and then your oil percentage, and then your fuel range and your instant fuel economy. Lots of information there. And then audio shows you what audio source is playing. You could change your audio source from here if you would like. You have your phone, hook up your Bluetooth phone, and you can make a telephone call from here, or hang up calls, or start a call. Then you have your turn-by-turn directions for your navigation system. And then options, you could change options such as the if you want to change the units from the US or metric. And then you could change the display theme if you would like. And then your info pages too. Then you have a speed limit warning that you could set. Overall, pretty nice. Love this configurable display here. And then I love the digital speedometer too. And then down there it also shows you your odometer, and then on the left it shows you what gear you're in, and then your direction of travel. Now, coming to the infotainment system and the main head unit, this is the Chevrolet MyLink system, and we've seen this head unit countless times before, and it works pretty well. I love how responsive this system is, and then it's very user-friendly. Coming to your different audio sources, we do have all of the norm, AM, FM, XM satellite radio, and then you also do have Bluetooth streaming audio, and your USB port with iPod integration, and your auxiliary input. Coming to phone, you can hook up your Bluetooth phone. I have all of your contacts stored on here, your voicemail, have an integrated dial pad. And then you have your navigation system. Love this navigation system here. It shows you your points of interest, live traffic. You can enter in your destination by voice or by manually putting it in, or by points of interest. Coming to weather, shows you a 5-day forecast or hourly. You can change the location if you would like. It's going to be hot today. Then you have your Android Auto and your Apple CarPlay when you press on this projection feature, but you have to have a USB connected to a smartphone. And then you have your text messaging function, settings that you could change from this for the system, like the valet mode, time and date, language. You also do have the teen driver feature, and then the voice recognition, you can also change that, and then the display. You also do have the 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot on this vehicle. And then OnStar, of course, rear climate controls, and your camera. You can access that at any time you would like. And your live traffic. Shows you all the traffic incidents. All that good stuff. Overall, really do love the Chevrolet MyLink system. It's one of the best infotainment systems in the business. Now, even though this vehicle is shorter in length, there's still a pretty good amount of interior space inside of the Acadia here. I found a pretty comfortable driving position. I certainly don't feel claustrophobic inside of this vehicle, and it's certainly on par with the rest of the other midsize SUVs in terms of interior space. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the Acadia. Power tailgate. Now, the last generation Acadia used to have one of the roomiest cargo areas in the crossover class. However, that's certainly a different story now, and the Acadia is actually pretty small compared to some other midsize SUVs in terms of cargo space. But at least you do have a third row still, which is nice. And the seats all do fold down in the Acadia. You also do have a 12-volt power outlet and a little storage compartment. Interior quality does follow through in the rear of the Acadia, which is nice. Now, these second row seats, you can go for full bench seating like this one, or you can get second row captain's chairs, which I highly recommend, which makes access into the third row much easier. And then you also do have second row reclining seats, and they do slide forward and aft for greater comfort. The headrests back here are also adjustable, and you do have heated rear seats and your climate controls, fan speeds, and your temperatures. You also do have a house outlet and 2 USB charging ports for the children, and another little storage bin, which is nice. Then you have dual map pockets back here, and versatile armrest with cup holders, your LED map lights, and a sunroof. Very luxurious back here. And the seats themselves are pretty comfortable too. Plenty of legroom, and there's plenty of headroom back here. Even though the Acadia has shrinked a whole lot, back here it's still pretty good for the second row occupants. All right. Now, the Acadia used to have one of the roomiest third row seats of any crossover. That's a little bit of a different story now. There's not a whole lot of space back here. The legroom can be pretty tight, and the headroom isn't actually too shabby due to that very blocky kind of design, which is nice. But the legroom is certainly a big issue if you're trying to fit adults back here. Children should be just fine back here, but adults may have to squeeze. But it is really nice that these seats do slide forward and aft. That makes it so you can have more space for the third row occupants. But you do have a USB charging port back here and a cup holder. But certainly, it's not as roomy as the last generation Acadia in terms of space for the third row occupants. All right. Power passenger seat with power recline and power lumbar. So the 2017 GMC Acadia may have lost some of its main attributes that made it a pretty good vehicle in the past. However, this new Acadia is a much better crossover all around due to its new design, technology, and its excellent road manners. And if you're looking for more interior space for your third row occupants, just step up to a Yukon XL. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.